content, it might already be too late. The labyrinth, fade pathways of arbitrary sharp turns seemed stranger and stranger as panic blotted out the once deeply ingrained memories that usually guided me. Every corner felt a stranger, every straight line too long. The bell tolled for me. I bit down harder on the last of my rations, held only by the skin of my teeth. It barely hung as I kept frantically looking around, hoping for the few scraps of burning memory of mine to find a familiar sight that would lead me to salvation. The gates must be closing by now, the last few barely making it. The rest of us never stood a chance. Suddenly, from a blind spot, a figure struck me. There was no time to react before I came crashing down onto the cold hard ground. I struggled to regain my senses to see what fate would befall me in my final moments. But even in the absent abyss of endless terror, my mind could never have imagined the horror I witnessed. Oof, ouch, that stings. Who are you? I'm just someone who got knocked over by some half-brained frick face who doesn't even have the decency to ask if I'm fine before or apologize before starting an interrogation. Not for the added, listen up. I don't know who you are, but you've got a lot of nerve smacking someone down and not even bothering to help her back up. But since your mother didn't teach you manners, I'll let this one slide. Your mom. By the looks of it, you're late for school as well. And by a stroke of once-in-a-lifetime luck, you just happened to bump into the prettiest girl in town. So I'll forgive you for extreme transgression. I can't read this all.
Make this your banner, make this character your banner.
What?
But what the fuck?
The hell you mean don't wanna? If you don't show me your way, then you're never arriving either. Or did that thought never...
Like...
Spilled blood. Yes, I guess. I'm Mirage. Don't bother telling me your name though, I don't really care. Just, yeah, well you could do a beat down, so... Wait, hold on, I'm screen. But yes, you're right, I don't really care about what you or anyone else thinks of me.
Ultra Kill is an anime?
Yes.
Oh my god, Marcy's into
What's the point of making it better? What's the point of even bothering to care? Hell, what's the point of anything at all? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean really, take a moment to think about it. The human mind, in its complete vastness, is capable of recognizing its utter helplessness and uselessness in the face of...
I didn't know you could have a visual novel and a first-person shooter in the same game.
We can only ever ignore it, hide from it, or temporarily escape from it. But the fact is that we are bound to the way of all things. Death is unavoidable, not only to us, but all that exists, or ever has existed. Every living being will eventually die out. Every speck of matter will eventually wither away and dissipate into entropy. It doesn't matter if you lived a good life or if you left a legacy behind. It doesn't matter if humanity survives for 1,000 years or dies out tomorrow. The end result is the same, the absolute nothing. Human intelligence is far beyond that of other animals, but would be misguided to consider that a gift. All other beings have the gift of ignorance, of not understanding what we do. Our intelligence is not a gift, it's a flaw. It's an overextension of evolution. Intelligence, once a great feature in aeons past, continued to grow unchecked and unfiltered, and has since passed a threshold whereupon it no longer is a benefit but an active danger to its host. Much like the Irish elk, a species of deer that, once through uncountable generations of evolution, grew antlers so wide and fast it could no longer run from predators, eventually leading to extinction. The human mind is an evolutionary maladaptation caused by
Check your DMs.
in a direction that once benefited. Okay, hold on. I'm sure you felt it too. The pain and fear of being nothing, becoming nothing, the suffering of understanding that. Yeah, deep stuff, deep stuff, deep stuff, deep stuff, deep stuff, deep stuff. Face to face with the truth, be sublimated, be transformed yourself. But these ways are all simply temporary. They're just there to push back the inevitable veil of helplessness and despair that would encompass and ruin us. In the end, nothing matters.
I think I missed something.
There's no point
You
in trying
told her
find joy in
to be
life.
nice, so she went into a rant about how the species go extinct.
Yeah, you're wrong. Huh? You criticize those who consider our vast intelligence a gift, and yet also misguide yourself to believe are meaningless. It's a curse. How could it not be? Nothing we do matters in the end, and that is precisely why we are not shackled by the burden of expectations, the fear of eternal judgment, or the failure to meet up to an arbitrary definition of what makes our limited time not wasted. Time cannot be wasted, for there is no greater purpose to life than simply living it. But still, in that case, the meaningless of our actions draws to the same conclusion. There is no reason to act, for any action is simply a temporary fluctuation that will nevertheless lead to the same conclusion. Quite the contrary. Because we have no greater purpose, we are free to set our own, to create self-defined goals for which to strive. For some it may be nothing, for some it may be pleasure, for some it may be creation, for some it may be improving the lives of others. It is because we have no greater purpose that time spent on goals set by oneself cannot be time wasted. Just like my time spent on making stupid content, like this stupid dating sim. In the end, nothing matters, and therefore you have no reason to do not to do whatever you want, rather than whatever illusion of greater purpose is forced on you by others or even your own misguided thoughts. I do understand what you mean. However, that doesn't ease my fear of the end. Even if I were to try to find purpose, I would still be paralyzed by the thought of becoming nothing. And it's a thought we're fearing. However, abandoning purpose, hope, choice, goals, pleasure, and will cannot make that thought disappear. The fear, however, can subside. Giving up is not accepting the end. It is simply accepting the fear of it. It is embracing despair rather than facing it. I see. Though as much as I'd like to embrace it, I am nevertheless struck with that paralyzing existential panic. I understand it logically, and I know there is no reason to live in apathy, but my emotional side refuses to listen. The fear persists, and I cannot motivate myself to seek purpose despite knowing I must. This is true, the emotional is not controlled by the logical, however they are interlinked. Just as the deepest, darkest depths of despair can overthrow reason and the logical, warping them to fit into that haze of depression, so too can reason and influence, can overpower emotion, regardless of how impenetrable its defenses may seem. But
So, when do we get to fuck the robot girl?
it's not an easy job, it's not a quick job, it's feel impossible. And we're back. Well, I'll be damned. Guess you got a good head on your shoulders after all. Hell, I'm impressed. I need to... What is this music? This is good. Man, I feel like I've just shed the weight of the world off my back. Or rather, you've done that for me. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You've given me a lot to think about, and while I'm sure it will be a long and hard road ahead of me, I'm optimistic. For the first time in what feels like an eternity, I'm optimistic. Say, we're already way too late for school. Grab something to eat, eh? Oh, you sneaky bastard. That's alright. I do owe you one anyway, so what? And that's the mission. Yes, we're back to killing. We're back to hell, baby.